people, and we're the world reserve currency only right now, while Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, now China's invited in Argentina. Saudi Arabia is now looking at trading oil based not on the dollar anymore, but some countries. So we're not the world reserve currency for very long. That's going away. But notice again, even 60 Minutes is hammering him on the idea that this thing is fully programmable. What are your thoughts here, Patrick?
It has been programmable, and here's what I heard this reiterated.
I think this is on 400.
Great Britain, she's American, but Great Britain by the name of Pippa Malmgren.
I think.
Yeah. She gave
I'll check it here. I'll be flipping it around here. Okay, I'm hooked up to here right now. This capacitor is bad. I replaced all these. I didn't replace that one for some reason. I just didn't do it. I have one sitting right here to do it, but I'm going to experiment here. So I have this hooked up to there, which is RF, but we can do this.
Where they can limit spending in whatever direction they want to, down to the personal level, down to the wallet level.
Here's that clip of Dr. Pippa.
So I got, this is what it does when I have modulation on. I have it on 10.7 on the front, approximately. RMS and peak to peak. Channel 2 does not have a RMS. So if I put my digital meter on this side, it's I think I like 100. I can't remember how many volts. It's over 100 volts, and it's about 65 on this side, on the side with the 100K. So I'm gonna take that out. I just want to compare the waveform shape here. That's what I'm after. After I pop that in for a moment. So I'm just gonna snip that out. But first I have to hook up to it from this pot is frozen. They all have to be lubed there. None of them are working very well. Maybe that one is. I put a new rectifier in it. Some resistors. Capacitors. I think I checked that one. Yeah, that's been cut and tested. It's good. I put a resistor in there. Okay.
Something we put up at worldviewreport.com last night, because I think this fits with everything. We put this up at worldviewreport.com. The IRS, this is a screenshot, jobs.irs.gov. IRS is looking to hire, these 87,000 people, right? Well, one of the job descriptions is for, I guess, people to knock down doors and break heads. Major duties, adhere to the highest standards of conduct, especially maintaining honesty and integrity. Isn't that kind of an oxymoron when you talk about the IRS? Working a minimum of 50 hours per week, which may include irregular hours to be on call 24/7, including holidays and weekends, so you can bust up some heads. I added that last part. We like to bust up people's heads on holidays. Maintain a level of fitness necessary to effectively respond to life-threatening situations on the job. Carry a gun, carry a firearm, and be willing to use deadly force.
I don't know if that tells me there's AC in here or not. I'm not sure.
Be willing and able to participate in arrest, execution of search warrants, and other dangerous assignments. So the IRS is putting together their Gestapo. And of course, they're going to be very easy. It's going to be very easy to control everybody, do what they want, when they can just start seizing their accounts. Correct? And you put this together with the digital currency and the programmable money, and you've got a lockdown police state.
Well.
But more than that, you've got a surveillance state. We've already got a surveillance state, but if we have digital programmable money, there will literally be nothing you can do, no place you can hide. surveilled, and they'll be able to shut you down without access to your money.
So
And people need to
that's
understand
my
that's different than like just reading about
400.
how his Rickard
Heck, is it
explains in
400
that
hertz?
article.
So I'm going to try to get this to 400 hertz.
Got out of line in Canada.
But like I say, this is the right side of this waxy is over 100 volts, and this is like, I think like 65 volts or something when I checked it the other day. So I'm going to snip it out and put this 0.001 in there. So that's what the waveform looks like with that 0.001. I'll pause out and pop this in for a moment and see the difference.
Assassinated along the way. I hope that's not going to happen here necessarily, but the problem with America for sure is that we've been conditioned to think of
I'll have to compare, see what it was before. I don't think it made a difference.
there's horns and a tail and ha 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 carrying a pitchfork. People generally have no idea how evil is.
I'll measure this here.
So we've been in, our country's been in denial on a lot of these issues for many
Gone because of the
Okay.
removal of the church. Can you imagine the flood of evil?
Well, the Bible accurately documents this and says, well, documents it.
This side here.
The presence of the church in the world is the only thing that restrains evil.
179 volts. The other side
And when that restrainer
is still 64 volts, which is crazy because it has a 100K to ground. I'll have to make sure this is good. I don't have a lot of faith in these yellow jackets, but I know the ones with the IC, I think is on those, is on my PV Classic 30 guitar amplifier. They have those inside.
We're showing people the machinations and the framework and the mechanics of how it works.
This is cut out right now.
Scoff at it still and say you're nuts, you're crazy, you're a conspiracy theorist.
That's showing 78 volts there.
They're not all going to be laughing and saying that forever, but we do still reach a lot of people with this message, and a lot of people are starting to come out of the fog. Is that enough to stop it or push it back? Who knows? We really do not know. They had the same thoughts back in World War II with Nazi Germany. They didn't know. The Christians back then didn't know.
They took all the Republican radio off where I live, so I have to listen to a church channel.
You know, God turned the clock forward a little bit.
They don't want people hearing Republican news to make up your own mind. Kind of crazy.
But we occupy till he comes, and we
What that religion
Back
looks
on.
like, the worship of nature, all of this
Here's the parts that came out of it. This knob is no good.
Prophet Daniel telling us in Daniel 2,
Oops.
Daniel 7, the kingdoms will come and go. We now see the building of this revived Roman Empire.
These capacitors were really bad.
So I'm hopeful, but
They weren't placed in the container very good.
I guess they can capture you, torture you, but really is, they can kill the body, but they can't kill the soul. And we may not be long for this world, some of us, due to the fact they take us out, or we're raptured. I don't know which one's going to be, but if it wasn't for understanding this through the lens of the Bible, I would be in great despair. I don't know how
Another one.
the world does it, but listen to this. This is Jim Rickard. This is something he recorded back in July of this summer. He's now saying in this one, he thinks a digital dollar by this next year, which is December 13th. I don't know why he's putting a date.
Rectifier.
That is almost next year. But he's saying next
That
year.
don't look like a rectifier.
He expects a digital
It's like
dollar.
a giant signal
This recording that was made
detector or something, but
2022. Listen to a little bit of this. Jim Rickard. There's an urgent situation.
I put that baby in there.
And today I'll unveil all the unnerving details. So let's get started with a critical question. Where were you on March 9th, 2022, when President Biden signed
These things were really bad.
on that day in hush ceremony at the White House?
I think it's a 0.05.
For the American people, Biden signed into law Executive Order 14067. Buried in this order are a few paragraphs titled Section 4. Language in Section 4 makes Order 14067 the most treacherous act by a sitting president in the history of our republic. Because Section 4 sets the stage for legal government surveillance
It's a 0.05 also.
In this new war on freedom, the Dems aren't coming for your guns. No, they're thinking much bigger than that. They're coming for your money, and it's already started. Hi, my name is Jim Rickards. I'm a former advisor.
That's a resistor.
The White House, Congress,
Resistor.
CIA, and the Department of Defense. I'm also an attorney.
All the resistors are kind of big like this. This one here was bad. This one here was bad and out of place. This shouldn't have been on it.
Most of all, like you, I'm a proud American patriot. The disturbing predictions you're about to see are based on my
0.073.
in the intelligence community.
I put a this is going from the AC to chassis, so I put a 0.0068 in. So if you have this in wrong right there, 0.0068. I couldn't write it very good apparently, or I smeared it. But I want it so if you have this in backwards, if you're gonna get a shock, it's got to go through that 0.0083. Instead of giving you the full Fletcher. I wonder, I should check with that, and maybe that's why this is happening. I should just jump a bigger value across a point. They had a point this across it, but I know it's not original. It wasn't riveted in. It's only worth 100. Maybe it's worth 600 volts. I'll jump on across and see if it gets rid of this stuff.
This isn't something years away. It's starting now. Biden's secret army has been hard at work, and U.S.
We're going to pick it up right there. We come back. Startling.
RMS, peak to peak. So I want to try to get that up to 400 hertz if I can.
The worldviews of our present culture clashes with a biblical worldview. The philosophies of our day, so accepted, deny biblical truth. It's important that a standard be maintained so that which is counterfeit can be detected. Each day, Worldview Weekend
I think I'm leaving those. I haven't measured them. I don't know what these ones are. Those are 470 ohms, 470 ohms. These must be 50 ohms each. Maybe. I want to replace all these 18Ks, but I don't think I have. I know I don't have them at 1 watt if they have to be. I don't think they have to be. Maybe. $12AT7, 6C4, 400 hertz oscillator, 6J6, and 12AU7 or 61 something. Industrial number. I'll pull it out here. I'll pull out the. I got it. This one right here. That should do that. Uh-oh. No, 61. Oops. This is for something else. This is for something else. Vertical dots or something. This 6C4. Here's the 6C4. I'll pull that. That's for this. So that could be AC.
Now he's saying potentially December 13th. Again, I don't know why he's being so bold to set the date. I would think he.
Okay, I'll put him back in.
Would want to make sure that he doesn't set a date and miss it, but he appears to think that's going to be the case. But let's say he's off and it's 2023, 2024 scenario. So if he is right about December 13th, we should expect something catastrophic to happen between now and then. Will it be, a new super bug release that's 10 times
We're screwed.
than the coronavirus? Will it be the launching of World War III and perhaps a nuclear exchange? Will it be a massive cyber attack targeting the banking and financial industry? Something of
this one's frozen.
Or something that we hadn't
I'm not familiar with those, if they're frozen. This one's definitely frozen. Those need to be lubed. This needs to be lubed. This thing seems to be pretty right on. I spilled solder all over, so the electrolytic here is completely disconnected.
Or what if they rig the election so badly and the American people from a November election to December are really beside themselves?
Here's the AC.
And this is the way you crack down and get
I'll
control.
plug a bigger capacitor across that and see if it gets rid of this little vibration. I don't think it will, because I used those in guitar amps, I think, before, but not Yellow Jackets. So I got that dubbed across it. No difference.
You can spend it here, but you can't spend it there. You're only allowed this much for certain items, and once you hit your quota, your money is turned off. With Biden bucks, the government will be able to force you to comply with its agenda. Because if you don't, they could turn off your money. Something like freezing a bank account will be so much easier. Because Biden bucks will be digital tokens programmed at the source. They could be turned on or off at will with just a keystroke. And they could be reprogrammed at any time. With Biden's secret surveillance army running the show, the anti-freedom implications are almost limitless. For example, Biden bucks could be programmed to allow only certain kinds of purchases. Imagine what this new world could look like. You want to keep an internal combustion engine car? Your digital dollars suddenly won't pay for gas. Instead, you can be forced to buy an electric vehicle. That's just the tip of the fascist iceberg. They can force you to get vaccinated. They can force you into solar. They can force you to use less water or heat. They can force you to eat fake plant-based meat. They can control where you're allowed to travel. They can stop you purchasing certain items like ammo or survival supplies. They can control to which candidates you're allowed to donate. And they'll know every single place you spend your money forever. America would become a surveillance state like China or North Korea. Every single aspect of your life could be controlled because they'll control your money. In fact, I fully expect them to implement a social credit rating system like in China. Say the wrong thing on social media, buy the wrong thing, subscribe to the wrong news channel, give money to the wrong candidate, and your rating drops.
So this will be unmodulated RF.
This is already happening in China.
So it has that. That's when the 64 is shut off. Now we're on 400 hertz. This is called vertical bars.
But that's China, an oppressive communist country. Could this really happen in a democracy?
Oops.
Just ask the truckers in Canada, because that's exactly what happened to them. Their Prime Minister Trudeau was granted special emergency powers during the peaceful trucker protest.
This one is variable audio, but I can't turn that potentiometer.
And anyone who aided them in any way. And it wasn't just a threat. That fascist froze the bank accounts of non-violent protesters. He locked up over $6 million in private accounts for protesting a forced vaccination law the truckers believe violated their sovereign human rights. Think about that. They protested his policies, so he took away their money.
I was doing the wrong thing.
Think our current government would love to do that?
So that's called the audio. I cannot, that's solid. I cannot turn that potentiometer. So that's, it says variable audio and horizontal bar / horizontal bar. Next one is crossbars. Next one is white dots. I'm wrecking this switch. I'm gonna bust it if I keep using my screwdriver.
Get out of debt. Find ways to be diversified. Precious metals, land, gold, silver.
What the hell am I doing?
Rental house. Even if I guess you barter with your renter, whatever. I don't know. There is no perfect plan. But if you, I believe, sit with all of your assets under their digital system, you will be 100% under their control. Leo? Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned.
That shouldn't be up that high. That should be. There's my 0 line right there. I'm spreading this apart. It works too hard to have a knob on it.
Tennessee, Texas, and a few other states, they have started to pass legislation that allows you to pay bills.
And I'm hooked up there. I'm hooked up to audio, and it's spitting out the 10.7, isn't it?
I want to point out, though, there is a precedent in America for confiscation of money. That's right. Remember the gold, when gold was confiscated by FDR.
It's saying 107 kilohertz.
Made a summary statement, you need to turn your gold in. And there was a lot of people that did have knocks on the doors where they knew
it's 107 kilohertz, I guess.
And we could very easily have the same precedent set today where the IRS is used to confiscate cash and or gold. I don't think gold
107
The reason I say this is because the literature
Let me look at it.
the idea that the
Kilohertz.
concept of technocracy cannot work with outliers in the system.
I wonder if I short-circuited something flipping this around, because that yellow jack was kind of really hanging out.
In education, in business, everywhere we see it. The UN's all over the UN documents. You know that. I know you
I changed this one. I didn't change this one yet.
The reason nobody can be excluded, that no outliers, is that they mess up the whole system.
These are good. These are real accurate. I have another one. I have the one without the A, and it has 12AT7, I think a 12AX7, 2 tubes. This one has a 6C4 and a 6J6. I kind of like them kind of tubes, so that's why I bought it. This part here works really well, I think. That one's a 6J6. 6C4 to the right. The 12AU7 with the red on it.
You have a police force potentially that could go out and start knocking on doors. You know they know where everything is already because they've collected. They know where the guns are. They know where.
I'll hook up to the 10.7.
Cash is by and large. People that are tending to hoard cash, they can deduce that from IRS. Execute that. Confiscation mode where we're just going to go out and take away stuff. That could happen with dollar bills as well.
Yeah, it sure can. 1-800-347-9829. Your thoughts, your comments, your questions. 1-800.
They removed all of our AM radio stuff. It's all sports or local stuff. They don't want you to hear secondary news, just what they advertise on TV or put on TV. That's it.
Technocracy.news. Leo Holman, leohomans.com, leohomans.com, or worldviewradio.com. We'll be right back.
Let me.
Part of the Thief in the Night series. Here is a clip from a distant.
Let me shut off my.
That trick, young woman, is used in here 50 times a day. Now, if you want your child cared for, you must have your ID. I can't take the line.
So this is off. Something's wrong here.
The Thief in the Night 4-part prophecy DVD set is available from BCY America as our way of saying
Okay.
thank you for your donation of
Turn the sine wave back on. I should be getting RF. I'm on RF. Oh, I know it's wrong. It's my cable.
Image of the Beast and Prodigal Planet.
I got a
Call BCY America at 1-800
cable that ain't worth a crap.
1-800-729-9829 or order online at bcyamerica.org. All right, welcome back. Glad you're with us. Worldview Radio.
Well,
worldviewradio.com, worldviewradio.com. Let's go to your phone calls. 1-800
I have
9829 1-800-347-9829. Again, my guest,
what's wrong?
Patrick Wood, his website technocracy.news, technocracy.news, and then Patrick Wood, then Leo Holman. Leo Holman is Leo HOHMANN.com. Leo HOHMANN.com. Both of these guys will
I'll
be,
check.
Jim.
Found my problem.
Yes, Brandon. I was just reading on
It
my
was
Prophecy Newswatch email this
my
morning
voltage was too
that,
high.
one of the top stories was
I had to
Australia getting ready to
do this.
experiment, quote unquote, with digital currency. Have you guys seen that?
I was way like this.
Guys, Australia?
Yeah.
I think I did see something on that. I saw the headline. I haven't had a chance to read the article.
always do this wrong.
something last week.
I don't know why.
It's spreading fast. Yes. Let's go to Star, line 2. Star, thanks for calling in, Star.
So she's kind of wobbly looking.
Food stores. You have the self-checkout. One of them uses cash and credit card. The newest one to be installed is only credit card. That way they
Peak to
can
peak.
use the digital currency that they're going to establish.
I'll add the audio oscillator.
Yeah, they're already conditioning the people no cash. As I said last week in Dallas, tried to pay for a Coke and coffee with cash. They wouldn't take cash. Comment by either of you gentlemen?
Yeah,
I have to put it on a legit oscilloscope. This thing ain't legit.
They're sworn to get rid of cash. I just ate at a restaurant yesterday. We pulled out cash to pay cash, and they said, "No, we don't take cash anymore. We only take electronic." And I looked, they have brand new equipment down there. She said, "It's equipment we have in here now. It doesn't permit cash." So
It's great for a frequency counter.
pushing vendors to install these brand new systems. I suppose maybe they even give them to them. I don't know, but are cheap, and they can install these, get brand new system, the latest and greatest software, everything. Put all the fancy tap here, and your card is red.
What was that on? 10.7?
They know there's no cash drawer. They can't accept a check or anything else. No cash whatsoever. Wow. This is a sneaky way, a backdoor way. And I'll tell you what, if you run into a restaurant like that, or a store, or a feed store,
That was on 4 points.
refuse to do business with them.
No, it
If you have
wasn't.
to drive
4.5.
50 miles to find another store
Sound
like that,
takeoff.
refuse to do business with them. And tell them. But tell them why. Tell them why. We must keep cash in existence. And then say, when you get your cash box back in here,
Okay.
I will come back and buy from you.
Let's try to do a
Yeah, otherwise I'm out of here.
Yep.
um
Line 3, Chris. Thanks for calling in, Chris. Hey, Brandon, thanks for taking my call. Good show today. I just wanted to say I was thinking about
that just
earlier in the
slipped.
show about these people with government and how they
I will do 455. So this is the olden days. 456 it says.
where it says their judgment slumber if not. And I think
I'll have to look on my other one and see if it's 455.
but these people I believe are going to have a special place in the lake of fire someday.
Okay.
I believe that.
That's band
I absolutely agree with you. I think the Bible says
B.
they're storing up wrath.
So I'm on D. This is C.
That verse alone
This is
tells me
C.
that there are varying degrees of punishment for these people. Well, even here on earth, there's going to be a day, the Bible says, where the blood will run up to the bridles of the horses.
That's C. Now here's B. So when I switch it next time, it should say 455.
Great point. Ralph in South Dakota. Ralph, line 4. Thanks for calling in, Ralph.
Where is it?
Yep, first time.
455.
How are they going to control, like, if you want to go to a grocery store, control what you buy there, or a hardware store, where you have just, from soup to nuts to buy, or are they just going to shut you off totally? Patrick, what are your thoughts? Because you mentioned, like, you won't be able to buy red meat. So
give me a quota. I think what they're doing.
I'll go to.
Quota. So you remember if you go back to the World Economic Forum, their website, in their video where they said, and we've shown the screenshots and showed it over.
I'll go to 800. No, 900.
Say that meat will be a rare treat. So they're not saying that you won't be able to get meat. It'll just be a
This thing's
very
moving.
rare treat.
It's hard to put it on.
They will see that you're purchasing red meat, and it will deny the
Okay,
purchase.
so I have to go there. Okay, got it.
It's almost like that movie I hate.
I'm there.
Charlie the Chocolate
Am I there?
Factory. You get the
I'm
candy
on
bar,
band
it's a
B.
rare treat.
So now I'll put it to 1,000.
But anyway, that's how it's going to be. The meat will be a rare treat, and they're already telling us.
There's 1,000. So this one's off a little bit.
Yeah, and of course, when we talk
We'll
about
try
examples like
this
it's important just to remember
color burst
they are
thing.
examples. We're not saying that this is going to happen exactly this way, but we're describing
It's hard to put it on there.
money.
It'd be a two-handed job. So it should be 35.79. 35.79 if I can put it on C. 35.6. So that's pretty good. I think. These things are real accurate. It seems to be. My other one is it has a 12AT7, I think, and a 12AX7 or a 12AU7. I might have a 12AV7 in there, but they seem to really be right on. The other ones with amplifier tubes in them, and they ain't worth a crap. The more tubes they have, the crappier they work, I think.
I think if people can have a garden, of course, at this time they might want to try to get the seeds, get those heirloom seeds, and be thinking now about
But this one, I think my other one has a legit sine wave. I think. I'll have to do a comparison. So this is it. Adios. Orange Beginner's Corner on August 12th, 2022.
The news comes even as the Biden economic team cites strong employment numbers as evidence the economy is not in a recession, despite the fact it meets the classic definition, 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth.